Hi, I'm Troy from Studio 33 Guitar. Thanks for watching. Today we're looking at how to play Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix. It's got to be one of the greatest rock songs ever written. If you play electric guitar, this is definitely a song you want to know how to play. I've got my 60s Strat, I've got my Marshall cranked, and I got my fuzz pedal on, so I think we're ready to go. Let's zoom in on the neck and have a look at how we play Purple Haze. In the original recording, Jimi tuned his guitar down to E-flat tuning, meaning that each string was tuned down one semitone. I did that for the intro when I played along with the original recording, but now I've tuned back up to standard tuning so it's easier for you to follow along for this lesson. The intro of the song starts like this. And that's done with the index finger on the B flat note, the 6th fret of the E string. And then we're going to play the octave to that, so 2 strings down, 2 frets over, with the ring finger. Those 2 notes. And I think that's what Jimi does on the original recording. He alternates between those 2 notes. But at the same time, the bass player is playing an E note. And that creates this dissonant sound between these 2 notes. That's called a tritone when you play those 2 notes together. It's very dissonant sounding. So to get that same sound on the guitar, we're actually going to play those 2 notes together and alternate between this note and these 2. So just kind of keep the fingers in the same position, and then we alternate with the pick between this string and these 2. So after you play this note, you want to lightly ease up on that. You don't want to take the finger right off, but just reduce the pressure so we're not playing that note anymore, because we don't want it to keep ringing when we go to these notes. After we do that 4 times, then we go into the main riff of the song. And that starts just 1 fret up from where your ring finger is right now. We're going to start with that note. So the first bit sounds like this. Okay, now that starts again with this note on the 9th fret of the D string, and you're going to slide into that with your ring finger. From there, you're coming down 1 string down, the 7th fret, with your index finger. And then you're going to play the 8th fret on the B string. Now you can either use your middle finger or your ring finger, whichever one is more comfortable for you. So far that's like this. And then you're going to play this B note, which is directly above where your index finger just was. Okay, so together it's like this. And if you want to use your ring finger. Now sometimes he gives a little bit of a bend to that note before he hits this one, so that would be like this. From there, we're going to move that index finger down 2 frets to this G note, and we're going to play that note, followed by the open D. So you take that finger off. And now we're going to play the open E string, and then you're going to hammer on from D to E on this string. So together that would sound like this. So all together so far we have this. He plays that same phrase 2 times, and then we go into something a little bit different. So let me play this next phrase for you. Okay, now that starts with your ring finger on 7th fret of the A string, and you're going to slide into that as well. And you're going to come right down to the 5th fret on the D string, to the 7th fret, and then you're going to bend this note up. You're getting close to a whole tone bend. You're getting close to that note, but not quite there. And at the top, you're going to come down to this 5th fret. So you don't want that to come back down. You don't want that. You want it to be up. So I usually use my picking hand to mute the string at the top of the bend so that I don't hear it coming back down. So that looks like this. So that phrase together again like this. And then we're playing the G note again. Now an open A string, followed by an open E string, down to the 3rd fret, to this G note. So that whole phrase again is like this. And then we can give that a little bit of a vibrato. The next phrase is similar, but it's a little different. It sounds like this. So that starts with the same note as the last phrase. We're going to slide into that. And those notes are the same. We're going to do the bend. And this time we're going to come back down to that same note. So that's going to be like this. And then we do a quick pull off. And up to this 7th fret on the A string. And then you're going to have 2 quick open D strings as you slide into the 9th fret on the D string, followed by 7 to 9 on the G string. Okay, again, that whole phrase is like this. So that whole opening part slowly would be like this. That brings us into the verse section of the song where we start playing chords. And there's only 3 chords in this song, an E, G, and A, but the E chord is played a little bit differently. You might not be familiar with it. It's actually known as the Hendrix chord among guitar players. The actual name for it is an E7 sharp 9, but usually people call it the Hendrix chord because he's really the one who made it famous. It sounds like this. It's got a really cool sound, and Hendrix used this chord a lot. So let's take a look at the fingering and how we play this. So we start with our middle finger on this E note. Our index finger is on the 6th fret, just behind it, on the next string down. And then our ring finger is also on the 7th fret, on the G string. And then our pinky finger would be on the 8th fret of the B string. And then we have the open E on both sides. So all together. And that's a really great chord that Hendrix used a lot, and that's why it's known as the Hendrix chord. The next chord that we need is a G major chord, which you can use just a regular G major bar chord, like that. Now Hendrix actually played it more like this and then wrapped his thumb around, but he also had very big hands and he was able to get his thumb to reach around like that. My hand's not that big, I can't get my thumb around there comfortably, so I would typically just play with a regular bar chord shaped like that. It's the same chord that he's playing, it's just a little bit of a different way of doing it. So we have a G major chord, and then an A major chord, which is exactly the same thing, just slid up 2 frets. So rhythm-wise, we're going to play those chords like this. The last time through those chords, there's a stop on that final time on the E when he says, "Excuse me while I kiss the sky." Then he goes into this little riff that's an octave riff. It sounds like this. So for that one, you're going to play with your index finger on the 9th fret, the A string, and you're going to get the octave to that. So again, that's 2 strings down, 2 strings over. And then I use my index finger just to rest over top of that string in between to mute it so it doesn't sound out. And then you can strum those 3 strings and you won't get that note coming out. You'll just get those 2. And then you can also lay that ring finger across the other 2 strings to mute those out as well. So then you can be fairly aggressive like Hendrix was. He played very aggressively, really hit down hard on those strings. And so then your octave would sound like this. And then we're sliding that down 2 frets and then down 2 more. So we have. And then he just follows that up with the same 3 notes that we used at the very beginning. And again, we're going to give that a little bend at the end. And then you're right back into the chords again. That's the whole song. I hope that you found this useful, you enjoyed this video. If you did, then please let me know by hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, leaving a comment down below. That way I know that you want more videos like this. Also, don't forget to check us out on social media. We're on all the social media sites, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, Tumblr. Just look for us under Studio 33 Guitar. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.